Should you hire a virtual CFO or not? There are pros and cons to everything. And so we're going to address that today because here's the thing. Hiring a virtual CFO is not for every consulting firm CEO. For some, it can be the ultimate game changer. For others, it can be too soon, too much, and you just don't need it. So how do you determine where you are right now and if you truly need a virtual CFO? Well, in this two-part episode, I am going to share the pros and the cons to hiring a virtual CFO. Let's get into it. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Say Yes to Profits podcast, the place to be to become a financially intelligent CEO and turn your top line revenue into consistent cash flow and predictable profitability. I am your host, Dr. Octavia Conner. Please hit the like and subscribe button right now and make sure you come back week after week for a new episode. Now, before we dive in, I want to make sure we are on the same page about what CFO services actually are, because this term gets thrown around a lot and it can mean different things depending on who you ask. So, a chief financial officer, aka a CFO, is a traditionally executive level role in large corporations. Now, their job is to oversee everything financially, such as cash flow forecasting, profitability, projections, growth strategies, financial reporting, risk management, mergers and acquisition, pricing decisions, hiring decisions, advising the CEO on high-stake money decisions, and so on and so forth, right? A virtual CFO, however, is someone who provides that same level of financial guidance, financial support, and leadership, but at a fraction of the cost, okay? So a virtual CFO and a fractional CFO, one and the same. Different people call it different things. I call it virtual CFO, but it's one and the same. So I have a podcast episode titled, How Much Does CFO Services Cost? Where I break down the investment and why the investment is, what it includes, and all of those good things. You can go watch that episode to really get an understanding of what a CFO does and why a CFO costs what it costs. Okay, so I'll link that episode in the show notes. Okay, now what I will say is when you pair virtual CFO services with solid bookkeeping services, you now have a complete financial infrastructure working for your business. This is why at Say Yes to Profits, we offer both virtual CFO services and bookkeeping services. Sometimes you're not ready for a virtual CFO and you just need to keep your books accurate, reliable, and up to date, and you don't need to do the work yourself. Then that's where bookkeeping and accounting service will come in. Then when you've grown to a certain level and you have financial complexity and you have your business growth that you don't quite understand how to make the numbers jive with the growth and so on and so forth, then you may need a virtual CFO. And so that's why we offer both to meet you where you are and to get you to the virtual CFO place. Okay. So now that that's off the way, let's talk about the pros and cons of having a virtual CFO. First, let's start with the pros. Okay. So pro number one, you finally get strategic financial clarity. So here is something I see consistently. You are brilliant at what you do. You can walk into a client's business. You can identify the problem and prescribe the solutions with total confidence, just like that. But when it comes to your own numbers, you often experience complete fog. So maybe you do not know your true profit margins. Maybe you're not sure which service line is actually making you money versus which one is quietly draining your cash flow. Maybe you do not have a financial forecast and you are running your business by looking at your bank balance and hoping for the best. And maybe your CEO identity is tied to your bank balance. So when it's high, you're happy, you're confident, you feel sure of yourself. But when the balance is low, you're doubting yourself, right? All of that is wrong. Okay. You don't want to operate like that. Well, a virtual CFO clears that fog. They do several things. For example, they build a financial dashboard. They interpret your numbers in a way that you understand them. They translate everything into plain language so you can make decisions based on data instead of emotions and guesswork. Okay. So decisions like, should you hire another consultant for your consulting firm? Or can your cash flow actually support that marketing investment that you want to make? Or is your pricing actually priced for profit? Or are you busy and booked and not getting paid, right? These are the questions that a CFO helps you answer with certainty, with clarity, with confidence, and with control. So that's pro number one. Pro number two, cash flow management will actually work for your business. So cash is your business's superpower. It's the lifeblood. Can't operate without it. And here is what nobody tells you, right? You can be wildly profitable on paper and still run out of cash because your revenue is not translating to your profits, and then your profits translate to your bank balance and it allows you to have an excess amount of cash flow. That's not happening. And so you're profitable on paper, but have no money in the bank. That's not what we want, right? So in consulting, here's the thing. This happens all the time. You have project-based revenue, you have delayed client payments, you have large expenses hitting before you see the income. When you have delayed client payments, you do the work, but don't get paid 30, 60, 90 days out, and you still have to figure out how to operate your business. Well, your virtual CFO will build a cash flow forecast. They will help you see 30 days, 60 days, 90 days ahead. They will identify red flags. They will identify problems before they become crisis. Okay. They help you speed up your collections. They time your expenses strategically, and they stop you from living and building your business in a reactionary mode where you're reacting to every surprise, and the surprise seems like it's going to be detrimental instead of preparing for the worst case scenario and preparing for peak times in your business. Like a CFO will help you do that and more. Here's the thing. For so many consulting firm CEOs, this is the single biggest return on your investment from using a CFO that has a proven track record for helping you, okay? You finally will have someone proactively watching your cash flow so that you are never caught off guard and then your cash just simply disappear, okay? So I want to pause right here for just a moment because what I just described, the delays, the cash flow gaps, the money disappearing, the pricing that does not reflect actual profitability, the revenue coming in, but is not translating to your bank account, even though you're profitable on paper, like you have what I call profit leaks. Here's the truth. Most consulting firm CEOs have those and don't even realize it. This is why I created my Profit Leak Diagnostic. Okay. This is a free tool that helps you identify exactly where your money is leaking out of your business so that you can stop the bleeding of cash and start keeping more money in your business, keeping what you have earned, right? That's the true definition of being able to say yes to profits. Now, to access the Profit Leak Diagnostic, it's literally going to take you like 5 or 10 minutes, and it'll give you a clear understanding of what is going on in your business. You want to go to diagnostic.sayyesToprofits.com. You'll get insight. You'll understand how to change things. And I'll also drop the link in the show notes so that you can have those as well. But again, go to diagnostic.sayyesToprofits.com. Okay, cool beans. So let's get back to the pros. So pro number 3, you are finally able to build the financial foundation that you need to actually scale your business when you hire a CFO. So here is something I want you to sit with for just a moment. Most consulting firms do not plateau because of a lack of talent. They do not plateau because of a lack of clients. They plateau because of a lack of a solid financial infrastructure. Okay? Listen, when you do not have reliable data, it is hard to make confident growth decisions. So you stay stuck. You stay playing it safe. You stay being afraid to invest because you genuinely do not know if you can afford it. A virtual CFO changes all of that. Okay. They help you model out different growth scenarios. They advise you on when and how to invest back into your business. They help you understand your capacity and your margins so that when you grow profitably and cash flow positive. Okay. Listen, going from a 500K firm to a 2 million annual firm, or from a 2 million to a 10 million, that requires a custom financial strategy. And that is where a virtual CFO will thrive. Oh, this is good. Okay. So pro number 4, you'll get tax strategy that will help you legally and ethically say yes to zero taxes, or be within the tax position that you need to be in. Because sometimes if you're looking to buy a building or a house or something like that, you may not need to legally and ethically say yes to zero taxes. And so you got to work that out the best way possible one year and maybe implement the strategies the next year, right? There are different ways you can do that. Well, anyway, a CFO will proactively provide tax strategies so that you're not scrambling when it's time to file your taxes, and you're not hoping that your CPA kind of figured this out, because they're only focused on the actual tax prep. Okay. Most consulting firm CEOs are either overpaying in taxes because there is no strategy in place, or they're totally stressed out every time tax season comes because their books are a mess, and therefore it is keeping them stressed, and their CPA is providing them with incomplete information. Okay. When you have clean bookkeeping and a CFO who is proactively planning your taxes throughout the year, you save money and you save your sanity too. Okay. Listen, your virtual CFO can and will coordinate with your CPA to make sure you are capturing every legal and ethical deduction, and that you are structuring your finances in a way that minimizes your tax burden. And that is the real way to keep tangible money in your business and not going to the IRS. Hello. Okay. Pro number 5, you get a thought partner and not just a number cruncher. Okay. And this one right here is so underrated. And I really want you to hear me, because there are a lot of bookkeepers and accountants out there that are just crunching numbers, but they're using the title of a CFO. And so if you have someone that is just crunching numbers and just looking at the historical pattern, and they're not strategizing your future, and they're not helping you have a profitability and be cash flow positive, they're doing you a disservice. Here's what I know. Okay. Being a CEO can be a lonely journey. You cannot always be fully transparent with your team and your spouse and your partner about the financial state of your business, right? Like, your family loves you, but they don't always understand, and want to hear about the cash flow analysis at the dinner table. And your business coach, while they are amazing, don't always understand the in-depth financial side of the business. Right? And so your virtual CFO becomes that financial thought partner you have always been missing. They become someone who will take the strategy, the insight from the business coach, and back it in by the numbers, or they'll provide you with the strategy, the insight, and the numbers to go along with everything. They give you the data-driven perspective. They give you the objections. They give you the information you need to make the major decisions, but your numbers either support the decision or your numbers don't support the decisions. And then from there, you can understand what you need to do to move forward. Like, that kind of support in your corner is invaluable, right? Okay, so that was part 1, where we covered the pros of hiring a virtual CFO. Now, next week for part 2, we will explore the potential cons for hiring a virtual CFO. Here's the thing. I believe in being totally transparent. So I am not going to sugarcoat the cons, just like I did not sugarcoat the pros. I'm going to give you everything you need to see if a virtual CFO is right for you. And if you desire an understanding of the 5 hidden financial mistakes draining your cash flow and how to fix them, you definitely want to join me for my upcoming virtual masterclass. Go to cashflow.sayyesToprofits.com to secure your seat. Also, make sure that you subscribe and follow so you don't miss one of our upcoming episodes. Not even one. All right. This is Dr. Octavia Conner. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. Until next time, say yes to profits. Toodles. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Say Yes to Profits podcast. Now it is time for you to make money moves. Take action based on what you learn. Now, see you on the next episode. Say Yes to Profits. Toodles.